we have some Q&A to do. I hope you're doing fine, 'cause it's Q&A time again. Hello world, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing well. If not, as always, hope it gets better for you. So welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A, where you can ask me questions about the aquariums and the community as well, because I do not know it all in this aquarium hobby. I don't think anybody knows it all in this aquarium hobby, so we've got an absolutely amazing community here to help us, and yeah, so glad it's Friday. I've actually been running about 5 minutes late, not too bad. I'm not usually, well, I can't say not usually late, but I just had to tie up a few strings. I haven't much sleep this week. It's been crazy. You guys have been absolutely awesome with the support and orders, keeping me busy. I love it. So thank you all that have ordered. I appreciate it. And Candy Overhauls, thank you so much for reminding me the live chat and for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, Candy, and everything you do. World's best mod right there. Nothing wrong with my other mods, but she really takes it to a whole nother level. So if you've never been here as well, every Friday night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, we're on here to give help to anybody who needs help, whether it be fish, shrimp, anything freshwater. We don't do a whole lot of saltwater here. Once in a while we may talk about it, brackish, this, that, and the other. But yeah, mostly all freshwater here. But there's so much to do with freshwater too. All the little ecosystems and environments you can create with them. It's absolutely awesome. Hello from Ohio Placo Room. This is John's Fish Room. Hello, and hello all you other awesome people I see in the chat. So far I don't see any questions, so I mean it makes it easy for anybody who has a question now. As far as this week for me, it's been pretty chill, just besides shipping keeping me busy. I mean, that's not too bad. Been working on tons of projects. So as I showed on the thumbnail here, I've been working on a project here. I got other projects I've been working with, been fiddling around with this thing, got that going. But I really got to get into the maintenance here soon, and that's what that pump's gonna help me with, is maintenance. And holy moly, coming in swinging now. Oh, everybody woke up. Ginger Graves, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, Ginger. Always great to see you. Says Friday night with LRB, it's the place to be, for sure. Definitely, Ginger. I appreciate you, and thank God it's Friday. Hope you're doing well. Carol Cox, thank you for the super chat, $20 super chat. That's huge. Could you please tell us about the use of green water in fish keeping and breeding? So as far as green water with fish keeping and breeding, it can help for hides. So especially like a pistos, it's kind of good because they can't see their fry as well. They can see enough to breed, and then the fry, whenever they grow up, they can eat off the algae. I don't know how much of the algae they actually eat. Then there's other fish like placos and stuff that love the green water, autocinkless. The tiniest fry, like certain tetra fry and whatnot, really like the green water. And let's see what else. Plants really don't mind it, because a lot of the plants that I'm looking over here, because I got the green water over here for those that don't know. That's what I was looking over at, but I mean the plants really don't mind it. And you can see, especially if you're breeding fish and they tend to be like egg eaters, that's gonna hide fry. Same with guppies and endlers. You breed guppies and endlers in a green water tank, not only do they have a lot of places to hide, and the fry can hide a lot easier, but at the same time, as that green water grows and settles down on the bottom, then the babies can actually eat off of that, because it kind of creates like this green mulm stuff. It's really wild, which becomes a food for them. But thank you so much, Carol Cox, for the $20 super chat and the question. And hopefully that satisfies you. If not, I'll be looking in the comment, and if you got any more questions about it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Big D's Aquatics, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Big D. Right on, brother. Let's see, said Eric Wyrock says, would checkerboard, dwarf pike, and keyhole cichlids be good tank mates in a heavily planted 75-gallon tank? So if you are going to try to tackle something like that, I would definitely put like either rock borders down around your plants. Definitely try to use either fast growing stem plants and or some hard leaf plants like Anubias, like your hygrophilias, your Luigias, your Anubiases. Some buches are good, but most of the time they come in kind of small, so they could actually be kind of a hazard if they try to mouth them and get them stuck in their mouth. I don't think that's ever happened, but I could imagine it would happen, or has a potential. And dwarf pikes, those are cool. As far as the checkerboard, I'm not sure what you mean by a checkerboard, because there are a few different types of checkerboard fish. I'm guessing it's a cichlid, checkerboard cichlid. I'm not sure how big the checkerboard and the keyhole cichlid get. Maybe somebody in the chat can help us with that and with you with that question as far as the sizes on those. I'm not a big cichlid guy. Around here, everybody does cichlids, or that's the way it used to be, because we have extremely hard water. I'm in the Midwest, so it's cichlids all over the place. Ohio, like every state has got cichlids covered. So I always kind of went outside of the box from that, and that's why I got real well known for shrimp and stuff, because I was more on the fringe of all the new stuff as it was coming out. And once again, sorry if I'm missing some of your guys' questions that I am kind of going back up to get to them, because it's not easy to read it all. Phil Smith says, any suggestion for tank mates for Indian butterfly goby freshwater lionfish? Yeah, so those are kind of crazy. I think they're also known as like a wolf fish, for like freshwater is another name that they call them sometimes. I would say like definitely any corridors, anything on the bottom. Loaches would be all right too. Tetras would be fine more than likely. Watch some tetras though. Some tetras are actually kind of ornery, like the blue tetras, the Fredo chai or something like that. I would steer away from tetras, just for the chance that you may get a nippy type. Maybe go for something more like a rasbora, which you get kind of the tetra colors, smaller, less nippy, and pretty chill. And maybe rainbow fish, as long as you keep them in like pairs or trios, so they kind of spend time on each other, not like a solo rainbow who's just wants to go pick on things, because he has no other rainbow to play with. Rainbow's a real social fish. But there are a few suggestions. And you gotta think, they sit at the top of the water, so anything really in the middle and at the bottom of the water that's not aggressive, you'll be golden. Brian Maramba says, hey, I just found aphids on my frog bit. What should I do, if anything? So you can dunk it. If you got enough fish in that aquarium, you can dunk it. The tank that I did, it actually, I'm not seeing any more aphids on here. I think it was really attracted to, that's right in the middle when it flowers out, the nectar and everything. I think that's what the aphids were really going after. But really all I did was trim this off. Still kind of had some on there, and then just kind of dunked it down. And then they just kind of went away. So think about your aquarium. Is there something like a plant there that they could be eating on, or eating the nectar from? What's attracting them to that plant? All things to think about. And holy moly. Bro-tato, what's up, Chris Pinto? Hope you're doing well, brother. Says, pimping ain't easy. Sure isn't, but it sure is fun. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I appreciate you, Chris. Always great to see you in here, Bro-tato. My man. And Fisher and Fever becoming a member. Thank you so much, Fisher and Fever. I appreciate that. I like Fisher and Fever, real good guy. Real good guy. So cool to see him become a member. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And once again, sorry if I'm missing your questions here. I'm kind of shooting darts right now as far as what it lands on. So I'm just scrolling around. Because you guys are killing the chat, which is awesome. Like, smash out all those comments. Because not only am I here to help you, like, even if I miss your questions, there's going to be people in the comments to want to help as well, so. And they tend to know when I miss questions, which there's so many awesome people in here. But anyways, back to the questions. Deborah Sanders says, got my plants, mosses are doing great. Corkscrew valve was struggling, but seems to be doing better now. Floated it for 2-3 days before planting. Yeah, so that is a good way to boost val. Whenever, especially with shipping, sometimes, you know, in the weather, not all plants make it in the best condition, but that's a great way to bounce them back is by floating them. Actually grow a lot of them just from floating them, because what will happen is, here's some corkscrew valve. I'll bring you guys over, show you as an example, where I'll have it floating on the top here. But what it'll do is it'll start stringing itself out like that. So you'll have your main mother crowns, but then it'll bunch up. And sometimes, see how this is carrying down here? It'll just start carrying through. Gotta get that rainbow out of there. Okay, man, yeah. Neat little trick with corkscrew out. Oh, you guys don't want to see me. Let's see these guys. All right, flip you back over, and thank you so much for your order as well. I super appreciate it. You guys were awesome, and still some shrimp and stuff on the website. I think I got to get on there. I'll probably get on there later tonight and add some plants. There might be some that are out of stock. I'm not 100% sure, but. Thank you again for your support. And Gary Howes, thank you so much for your support. The $5 super chat says, keep it up. Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. And yeah, awesome, awesome. Father Fish, thank you for the $10 super chat. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you in here. I am bummed I didn't get to see your fish store in time with the whole, you know, convid bit. But yeah, I appreciate the super chat, and hopefully I get to meet you sometime. I know Aqua Shell is down there in Orlando. I don't know if you're planning on going there, but I may plan on trying to get down there. Like, definitely, more than likely. We'll see. It's very high probability. I just don't always like to solidify things because you know life, you got to expect the unexpected. But thank you, Father Fish. I appreciate you. And Ron Harryman, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, sup, bro, Mado. Oh, twisting it up, Ron Harryman. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, if I just had to remove a bunch of mulch from a tank, what should I do with it? I hate to waste it. It's actually really good for houseplants if you have any houseplants around. Vegetable gardens, it's absolutely that mold, that beneficial bacteria, all that waste, that, oh, it's nutrient rich for your plants. So if you want to use it for that, that's a great choice. But thank you, Ron Harriman. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And J-Rad Ironman, throwing down a $10 super chat. Great to see you in here, J-Rad. And thank you so much for the calendar. Hooked me up with a Sky Shrimp calendar. Super appreciated that. That's the second year in a row he's helped me get one of those. He says, you said when calling shrimp, you don't pay attention to males. You don't call any males. Oh, no, I do definitely call males for sure, and I do pay attention to the males. Actually, I paid attention to them both the same amount. But yeah, more than likely, you're actually going to have to call more males than females. And he says, I still haven't called any of your shrimp in 6 months. The yellows are throwing a lot of clear. Any suggestions? So what kind of substrate are they sitting on? A black substrate. Now my line is mixed with golden back, so if they're colored up right and they're happy, usually those clears aren't just clear, they're a yellow really. So they'll get the pattern on the head and the tail if you're getting some clears. But yellows definitely show off their happiness with color. So I don't know. And the best thing to do would be to cull those out if you don't like them. Or what you could do too is take the best of what you do get, because some of those yellows, they'll get like almost solid yellow over time. And it takes a bit of a colony to really get those like real solid, like it's almost on the shell. They're actually really kind of rare. Chris Lockup and I were talking about this at one of the shrimp competitions, and he said he went through like thousands of them, and he would find these like real like super yellow on the shell yellows, which are rare, and I also noticed that myself. So keep going at it, keep hitting at it, and you'll find shrimp like that, and you can actually work those out. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. But yeah, if you don't like those clears in there, cull them out, especially with the males. Sometimes they'll be stressed. I don't know. I also got a theory with, like, I don't know if like after they mate, maybe they may pale up. I don't think anybody's really focused on watching it enough. Sometimes I've moved shrimp to where they'll have color and then they wouldn't have color, and then they wouldn't have color and then they would have color, especially with the males. Now with the females, it hardly ever changes, but for the males, for some reason, they're more active with their color. So hopefully this helps you, because I know you're really trying to do your thing over there with the shrimp there, J-Red. Yeah, it kind of went long on that question, which usually I try to bang out these questions as fast as possible, but I think that definitely granted more of an answer, as much answer as I could give to. Scrolling fast, so I am going to try to scroll down to the bottom. Once again, sorry, Carrie Habercorn, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It says keep it up as well. Thank you, Carrie, I appreciate it. Thank you. And Designs by L, throwing down the $5 super chat, says my panda Cory eggs hatched Monday. They're almost all dead. In a breeder box with sand, Java moss, feed microworms, etc. Change 30% water 3 times a day. That's a lot of water changing. Are you changing it with brand new water, or are you changing it with old aquarium water? What I would do is flush out your breeder box with aquarium water, because what you're doing is you're feeding those microworms, and as those microworms settle, sometimes the Cory cats may not get to them all, depending on their size, especially if they're freshly born. Some are still eating off the yolk sacs. So if they just hatched Monday, they're probably a week off. They're probably off the yolk sac now, but they're probably scavenging enough through the tank at the moment that they may not. Just watch the microworms, watch if they start having any issue. Like, you shouldn't be fouling up the water since you're doing 3 times a day change, but it's with the water that may make the biggest difference there. But it takes trial and error when breeding out, and that's why fish have tons of eggs, because they don't just all do well. Like, you can have tons and tons of eggs, but you're never going to get 100% hatch rate. Never. Leo Contreras, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, I want to switch my Fluval Flex 15 to a shrimp tank and get your Blue Dream after I grow out my cichlids. How do I make it shrimp safe? So if you're already keeping cichlids in that aquarium and they're doing fine, and if it's a harder water cichlid, more than likely if you have hard water. Now there are some cichlids that are soft water, your South Americans that do prefer softer water, but as long as you've got the TDS up above 200, some mineralization in there, you don't really have to do much. Just take out the fish And then always helps to add rock piles for hides to create a nursery for your shrimp to breed out. Anytime, or you could use plants, moss, something like that if you don't want to make a rock pile. Or you can combo that and then really get it done. Doom, 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 doom. So hopefully that helps you. Yeah, I like the golden backs too, but they're really hard to line out to keep it real consistent. Especially when they start throwing yellow realies, because yellow realies are really rare, J-Rad, and it's hard to just like, oh, that's just the cull. When you kind of want to work them up. At least that's what I've been doing. And since they are a rarity, I don't know. I'm kind of like in between. Like, do people want these in a line? Do they not want them in a line? I do have a line that I've been kind of working on to try to separate that, but it's still a work in progress. Author Joe Holt, thank you so much for your order. We'll have that out to you. Or you said it is in the mail. Oh, well, it should be to you soon here. A Klein 806. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, looking at trying out soil capped with some 3-year-old Eco Complete. Would the Eco work if the cap is thick enough, or will it not compact enough? Eco can compact right on top of dirt, no problem. You definitely won't have an issue with it. The only thing I don't like about Eco is that it's sharp, so it can cause issues with cory cats. If you were to have shellies or something that might mouth at the lava rock, it would be an issue. Eco Complete actually works pretty well on the bottom of a dirted aquarium as well. One of my favorite caps is sand though. Brightwell works good. Really, as long as you got dirt, you could pretty much cap it with anything, with pea pebbles, whatever you really wanted it to be capped with, because those nutrients from the dirt, it'll last you forever. It's awesome. I love dirt bottoms. Whether it just be out of your backyard, dirt. And Author Joe Holt, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Man, you guys are being awesome this tonight. It says, you have given me so many fish tips. I wanted to say thanks. Well, thank you, Author. I really, 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 really appreciate it. Because without you guys, I would not even be here. I feel very lucky and blessed to have y'all here with me. Offstage 1 says, hi bro, I tried to take the filters out of one of my tanks, but the water goes really cloudy. One of the 4 tanks has done it. Any ideas? Yes, so often what happens when you do go no filter and you'll start seeing some cloudiness, what can be happening is, especially with shrimp tanks, what they'll do, the shrimp will constantly be picking at stuff and be throwing things into the air, which gets into the water column, which clouds it up. Same thing with cory cats. So it depends on the fish that you have in there. And then also sometimes if something passes away in there, you may not know it, and it can funk up the water sooner without a filter than if it had a filter. A big reason why I do no filters is the fact that I have so many tanks. It's just a lot easier for me. I enjoy it because I don't hear anything. I have I can literally hear the timers for my lights in here. It's so quiet, which would be cool if I didn't even hear that. But yeah, with filters, they have the carbon that you can run it through, which is always nice for polishing water and stuff like that. But you can, I mean, well, that's not quite no filter because that one thing, but it never stays clean. Anyways, I got lots of clear tanks that you can do it with, and it all just depends on the fish. It all depends on the fish and what they'll do to kicking stuff up into that water column. Makes a big difference. And once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions. Let's see. J-Rad Ironman, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says my yellow and RCS are on Eco Complete Black, Blue Dreamer on White Sand. I am worried about overcalling. Should I not be? I'm new to this. Okay, yes, great statement there, and that is great to know on the yellow release. So, yes, be careful overcalling and your frequency of calling as well. So if you're constantly calling, it can slow their breeding down because they'll get wise to you and they'll get smart. Matter of fact, I always try to never let a shrimp escape because I swear they make little shrimp dojos where they teach each other how to run away from you faster. They're really smart. You would be surprised how smart shrimp really are. So they will pick up to you if you are calling them frequently. Now saying that, I would probably call them, maybe you could do it in like a week and then maybe wait a month and then maybe you can do it in 2 weeks and then kind of like hit them here and there. Or, well, I don't know. That's a really good question. I wonder if frequency would be better, like a certain amount, like they know when you're coming instead of it being scattered. It would actually be, I've never actually really tested that. Because usually I'm grabbing almost once a week. Well, yeah, once a week out of each tank. I run about 2 of each, if not more, community tanks of shrimp of the ones that I sell. So what I'll do is like maybe run that for a month with every week, and then I'll flip over the next month every week. Sometimes I go a couple months, sometimes I go a few months. So that's my experience with it. I can't really tell you otherwise, but at least I can give you my experience. And yeah, you're keeping everything on the right stuff then. I got a cat really wants in here. So what happens is my cat will sit there and dig at this bottom of my garage door. And it's really terrible for the seal of it. So we gotta let her in. Old squeakers. What are you doing? Meow. So fast and black, you can't even see her. I go through the trees. Meow. Meow. Check these out. A little project. Alright. Roll back in here. Alright. Get back to you guys. Let's see. I saw a question with a bunch of numbers. I don't know what that was. I'm going to find it though. Finn Winkles, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Always great to see you in here, Finn. So says extra tetracolor tropical granules for your orange shrimp. They are amazing. I need more. Well, I'm glad you like them. I worked a long time on those orange shrimp and did not offer those for a long time either. Just because I worked on them, just wanting something really nice for people. But thank you. And you know I could always use extra tetracolor tropical granules. And I went through and actually fed brine shrimp today. That was kind of cool. So the fish got a little treat. They got something different than tetracolor tropical granules today. Got one of those Zis brine shrimp hatcheries from Aquarium Co-op, and I love that thing. Love it. It just makes it easy. And Caleb Shrimp and Scales, says, how have you been? I'm doing good, Caleb. I am so happy this weather is getting warmer. I'm waking up from my winter hibernation. I'm excited for it. Even though I got a ton of work to do with that pond, which I don't even want to talk about that pond. Oh my God, but I got a ton of footage I'm gonna end up working through here soon for that pond and get everybody caught up, and then we're gonna do some more with it. Brian Bauer says, what do you feed Millennium Orange Fry till they are big enough to eat baby brine? So Millennium Orange Fry, they're actually kind of picky because they're albino. I don't know how well you're keeping them. I always struggle with their fry. I always found that it's best to keep them in a dim tank for better numbers because they are coming out albino. But besides that, it was Cyclops and Infusoria, just the tiny stuff that was left in my shrimp tanks. But you can make Infusoria cultures and whatnot. But they are kind of tricky. Where is this question? Oh, I missed it. I missed it. I was going to try to find it. It had like a bunch of numbers. It really attracted me. What is good, fellow fish keepers, says Jarhead, an entrepreneur. How worried should I be if my sand cap breaks? I wouldn't be worried at all. Especially with sand, you can always kind of move it back. So if you're pulling a plant out, breaks, your dirt comes up, I would definitely recommend a water change because it'll kind of cloud up your water. If you do disturb, that could be another reason with your no filter aquarium as well. If you do pull out plants, you do disturb that bottom of it and you kick it up without doing a water change, it'll kind of suspend in the water column there and it'll settle on top of the plants, which can be problematic for the plants, and then it could also cloud up the water. But saying that, all you gotta do is a water change, and it'll help fix it, and then knock off whatever debris is on your plants as you're filling, and then everything should settle at the bottom there for you. Bob Ross, a fish, happy little fish, happy little plants. Oh, there's that question. Sunset Jen says, I have 3 new yellow neocaridinias, 2 females, 1 buried, 1 male in 5-gallon. Apart from top-ups, do I need to do dedicated water changes as the water evaporates about 10% a week? You don't necessarily have to, but if you do have plants, it is very helpful for your plants. Just get that water re-oxygenated. Now saying this, I would probably just do the 2 times a week, maybe 50%. But really, you're gonna be good topping that thing off for a long time. Just be careful with the water that you're topping off as well. So I don't know what your TDS is, what's coming out of it. When you are topping it off with nothing but, say, hard water, the TDS will build up. Won't really bother the shrimp so much, but you'll start seeing it scale up on the tank, and then you might not like that. And also the opposite, if you're working with something more acidic and say it's already breaking down some calcium that's in the aquarium, but over time that acidity will start working that out to where it'll work out the minerals, unless you're remineralizing with a GH booster. Then you can keep your hardness with just top-offs. So just be careful with your acidity and alkalinity of your water. And Danikin Aquatics, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Great to see you in here, bro. As always, says setting up a 300-gallon Ultim Angel tank. Would you put stir-by cories or Venezuelan black cories? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because the Venezuelan blacks would look good with the Ultim colors and really kind of match up. But the stir-bys, I mean, you gotta love stir-bys with their orange little fins, and they're kind of one of my favorites. I think the black, with a big school of the black ones though, would look really cool with the Ultims. If you had an open bottom kind of area to where they could come out and like school around underneath the angelfish during feeding time, I think that would look really sweet. And having a 300-gallon, I'm sure you can find some open space there. That's sweet. And yeah, that's what I would do. Ames Nature Water Drop, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. Caleb Shrimp and Scales, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says $2 bill for you. Can you show us some shrimp? I can show you some shrimp here in a little bit. Give me like 2-3 minutes and I'll get up and show you some shrimp. I'm just trying to catch up with a lot on this thing, on the chat here. Scroll and make sure I didn't miss any super chats and things like that. Boom, 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 because I want to get those acknowledged because they are very much appreciated. Random Robert Renditions, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. RRR, 3R, triple R. Hey, 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 says, thanks for the advice last Friday. We were able to put 3 bettas in our 160. 1 crown tail young and 2 2-year-old plaquettes. Oh, cool, very cool. Yeah, I bet that looks really cool in a 160 community, and I'm glad that I was able to help. And thank you for coming back and for your support again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. All right, so I'm at the bottom here, and we'll go look at some shrimp. I don't have them baited or anything, so they're not really. They're all going to kind of be sporadic. Both you got a room and a 300. Right? It's a huge tank. Could I keep rainbow shiners with my golden white clouds in an outside 45-gallon fish tub? Big reason why I keep this closed is it's kind of chilly, but during the warmer months I don't have to. But if I don't close this, it'll create like this air vacuum that just makes it super cold in that garage. So real important to keep that closed when it is cold out. And I think I was reading a question, now I forget what it was. Oh yeah, rainbow shiners with golden white clouds in an outside 45-gallon tub. Now, as far as breeding, I don't know how well that's doing. Sarah here, she's working overtime, doing her job. Here's some shrimp for you. They're hanging out, some blue dreams. This is the B team. And hopefully the quality's all right here. Passionate Fruit says, do your orange shrimp have solid orange on the outside of their shells like golden back neos or painted fire reds, or is it internal coloration? So that it really varies. Some will have that, but for the most part it's within the skin. So the oranges are kind of different when it comes to that coloration, with whether it's like really on the body or if it's within the body. They kind of blend with that, or at least mine do. This was supposed to be black rose, but I did not call it enough, so now the red is coming out more because red is a very dominant gene. Even though that one's looking blue and black, or what is that, like red, blue, and black? I made a tricolor Neo one time by doing this, where they all kind of mixed, like the genes were getting all crazy, and it turned into 3 different color shrimp. I had like 30 or 40 of them. Brought my shrimp back from the shrimp contest, and then I added them back in, and it killed the whole colony. So it was sad. But here's a cloudy water tank, which this one's not as bad, which is kind of weird. I think it's because these guys graze more on these like baby Marimo balls instead of so much in the sand, even though these have all the moss. I don't know, some tanks just will do that too. Some will just be a pain. This is a cold tank. I was working on red rillies in here, but just didn't have the time. There's just not enough time in a day for me, especially when you got guys like these Glossolepis maculosus. Like he's carrying algae because he's been eating eggs. So that's how you know if a rainbow's breeding in your tank and you got algae. If they're carrying algae in their mouth, you know they've been breeding in there. I think these guys are hungry. I already gave them some brine shrimp. These are those platinum purple kois. Rare. Which I don't have any for sale right now, just because I'm kind of holding on to what I got. This was one of my newest creations. There's a red and black koi mixed with platinum. See where some don't get the long fins, but this is what you're looking for with that long top fin. It gets like this. The camera really is not picking it up. There's the purple on the body, which purple is a rare color in a guppy. And it also has platinum like on its head. Really cool. Shrimp, shrimp, shrimp. And we can go look at the yellows. I gotta get to questions though here. I'm getting distracted. You guys get me around these fish tanks and I get super distracted. Look at this. I added an airline in here and the hair algae just went boom! Just blew up. I was trying to work on this little project. I was trying to redesign. I want to redesign the air filter, but that did not work with the parts. It's just not the right parts. But yeah, man, air filter sometimes when it comes to green hair algae, it will just feed it. It will really feed it. How crazy does that look? That looks really cool. I'm sorry, you guys. I know I'm supposed to be answering questions. Matt Riddle says, do you have any tips for propagating your pennywort? Just got mine from you this week. Ooh, it's lagging. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Here's some yellows, though, real quick. Yum, 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 yum. There we are. Look at all those snail shells from how old that tank is. Thing's been there forever. Fish, 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 fish. It's feeding time. All right, I'm going to get out of here, cuz. Oh, yeah, move slow. Sarah's a good reminder. Camera sucks, though, or internet is slow at my house. Yeah, it's probably the camera here. Lego Lucas. It's been a while since we hit Lego Lucas. It's been a while. J-Rad Iron Man's throwing down the $5 super chat. Thanks you again for the support. J-Rad says, my RCS tank has a lot of hair algae and a lot of ostracods. The colony is not growing. Can ostracods outcompete baby shrimp for food? Possibility, yes. Very possible that ostracods can compete with babies for food. So, and a big reason why you probably have those ostracods is just from overfeeding. I don't know how often you're feeding, but I actually only feed my shrimp once a day, which is, I mean, for some, quite a bit. And it all depends on the colony, how many you have. You got to really think about what they're eating. And I would probably go, if you're doing a tetracolor tropical granules, which I think you are, and you've talked about it. Oh, I know you've been doing that Bacter AE too, and that's probably what's feeding those ostracods a lot too, is that Bacter AE. They love that stuff. So maybe think about your feeding and maybe try to cut the feeding down a little bit, because that's where you'll get most of those microorganisms coming out in a shrimp tank, is just from too much feeding, because they've got stuff to eat. Where are the shipping charges listed on the website? So they are, I think it's, I don't know which label exactly. I think it's just in like questions or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I actually looked, or since anybody's even asked me that question. So let me flip over here. Well, here, flip you guys over. Maybe. Don't, LRB Aquatics. It's Hoarder. I'll have to sing for you guys. Why? Oh, no internet. Oh, that seems about right. That seems about right. Yeah, and it's trying to go off my phone here. Personal hotspot. So, well, I guess I can't figure that out. But there should be a tab that tells you the shipping. There should be a tab. Hopefully Sarah will chime in. I think she's online, and she can tell you. But, yeah, sorry, could not just get to that answer. Christian Dar says, some of my guppy tails fold to the side and one of my strains. Is this genetic trait I could breed out? Folds to the side. Interesting. Possibility, because I know they have what they call cauliflower swordtails. Or cauliflower, yeah. And it's kind of like a crinkly tail. So that could be a possibility. I mean, if it looks cool, if it's desirable. And Sunset Jen says 111. Yes, tap water is acidic. Thanks a heap. Yes. Says time shrimp keeping for me. I've been rewatching your vids. So much info within and Wesley antidotes. Yes, Good old Wesley. He's actually sleeping right now. But yes, with that acidic water, NiloCG, it's NILOCG.com, has a great GH booster that I use for when I'm running acidic water and I want to remineralize it. Because even when you're running acidic water and or softer water tanks, you do still want to add some mineralization in there, because as the acidity breaks down that mineralization, the fish and or shrimp or whatever's in it can absorb and take that in. Same with your plants. That's why soft acidic water does best for a lot of plants. It's just the fact that it can break down that mineralization for the plants to absorb it. But then once again, some plants like lots of that mineralization, so if you don't have enough of it, then they can struggle too. So it's kind of a balance thing. And there's so many different plants with so many different needs that they're not all the same. And that's the cool thing about it, is you get to try this, you get to try that, you get to learn this, you get to learn that, and what goes with what. And there's a lot of cool things to do with it. Random Robert Renditions, thank you again for the $5 super chat. Says, you're welcome for the support. Videos coming soon, brother. Well, awesome, Robert. Random Robert Renditions. Now it's twisting up my tongue. I was proud of myself the first couple times when I just rang that out, but thank you again for the support. Chris Trapp, thank you so much for the $5 super chat and support. Says, upgrading my LRB shrimp colony from a 10 to a 29 gallon currently. Hashtag, oh yeah. All right, brother. That is cool, Chris. Awesome to hear that they're expanding for you, and always great to see you in here. And thank you again. And Lowell's Fish Lab throwing down the $5 super chat says, I was surfing some of your videos and saw one displaying your fry rag. I think my jaw hit the floor. Do you have much going in it currently? So with the fry rag, it's actually, I think there's one CPD in there, because I found like some random egg. I was cleaning out the containers, and it's actually a decent size. It needs to be moved to my other colony of CPDs, but that's actually the only thing in that fry rack right now. I'm getting ready to move, like I'm currently organizing a lot of stuff, so that's gonna kind of be fry rack. I'll flip you over here. And this will have some fry rack on it too. So I'm reorganizing right now before I actually commit anything into that over there again. But I do still run it, just to have it ready. And hold on, I'm like so lost on this chat, and I feel like I've missed a ton. Let me do a power scroll real fast. Okay, now I'm caught up. Let's see. And thank you, Lowell's Fish Lab, for that $5 super chat. And I do need to do, there's so many videos I need to do, and I've actually got a lot of footage for them. I am going to try to pin some time down at least this weekend, and if not more time this week coming up, and just like really knock out some editing. Like I may not be able to come out with a couple videos a week like I would like to, but I will at least try to make it to where I have one loaded up for each week. Oh, Lady LRB says for the shipping cost thing, it's in the FAQ under how much is shipping. I'm surprised it doesn't just post the actual shipping for you guys though. Curtis Finn says, last thing I'll say for a while, show your jade shrimp before you end it, please. The jade shrimp are actually within the coals. And when we were in the belly of the fish room back there, that's like one of the deepest parts and where they are. Caleb Shrimp and Scale says, do you still have Caridina shrimp? I don't still have Caridina shrimp. So my crystal reds were the only ones that I really had breeding out much for me. And I had those for a real long time. And then they're just slow breeding. And they're just me in my water system, it just didn't make sense for me to continue to try to deal with the Caridinias. Now here with the guest bedroom where that fry rack is part of the reorganization that I'm doing in there to where I can have it more organized. It was just too scattered for me because when you have all these tanks and there's like hundreds of them and there's like different ones and you have like Caridinias here, Neocaridinias there. It's like, oh, hard water, soft water. It's just really unorganized, real pain in my butt. And when you've got so many processes of so many different things that you've got to do all the time, they just became too much for me to make it feasible for like just the few shrimp that I was getting out of them. I did get some breeding with like the tigers and a few other strains, but I was just never properly set up right like I should have been. And it just made sense for me to work with the water that I was really using. Granted, I got the RO, but still for me to do RO changes and then do the GH booster and then all that stuff, it's just, it was not feasible anymore with no help. Because I was used to having a helper there for a while, got a bit spoiled with that. Now I'm trying to get back to the grind to where I don't have, like, I don't know what the right word is for it, but that issue. J Red Iron Man says, I just went 17 days without feeding. I can't get rid of the ostracods. What's thinking maybe it's the hair algae? Ostracods do love hair algae, and they will eat off a hair algae all day long. So the ostracods are still eating off that. And if you've gone 17 days without feeding, that could be a reason why they're not breeding either. Is you've got to balance that. So you can't go from one extreme to the other. And that's what often happens with all that. That's not just with shrimp, hair algae, feeding, or anything. That's a big issue in a nutshell. Is what we often like to do is go from one extreme to another. That's like when we got green water, we want to cut off all the light and just try to kill the green water that way. Well, you're also killing off the plants, which killing off the plants will create more ammonia and all that other stuff. And it's all about finding that fine medium middle spot. And yeah, you definitely want to keep them shrimp fed so they'll breed for you. Okay, I am way off, I think. The lines then, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, you rule as always. Any thoughts on endlers with shrimp? I just bought 3 pairs. So it's tricky to do right, and it needs rock piles for protection of the shrimplets and to really breed, but you're gonna more than likely end up with more endlers than shrimp. So it depends on what you want out of it. Now you can keep them together and they can look cool together. But if you're trying to breed a lot of shrimp, I would not suggest it. But if it's just what you want and you want to see, I'll definitely go for it because it makes an awesome environment, awesome ecosystem to where the endlers can kind of live off the shrimp, but then the shrimp can breed enough to keep going and it becomes like a live food source, and then the endlers will keep breeding. It becomes a nice cycle. But definitely rock piles will help you with that, and or a lot of moss and plants. Fishy Mom 2381 says, do you buy plants from people? Frog bait, water, lettuce, java moss, moss balls. So I don't, because it is just too much for me to process. Everything is done in-house. It's just too much of a process to bring in things. Now I will with fish and stuff, but that's usually only done with clubs and conventions that are specialized to certain fish. Because those are the ones that really need to be getting out to people. Marlin Chaser 87, are you still looking at moving to Virgin Islands? So, we're not the Virgin Islands anymore. I would like to move somewhere warm. I would like to have some land though. Virgin Islands, I don't know. After the whole thing hit, I was like, maybe I don't want to be stuck on a remote island and transport ends up stopping. And granted, I could live off the fat of the land, but I do like my luxuries. Especially if you're trying to get like aquarium stuff. and or ship out. And it would have been real hard to ship out from the Virgin Islands. Granted, I was ready for that challenge to figure it out. But I don't know. Maybe I should stay somewhere near the mainland, but somewhere warmer and somewhere near water is where I'd like to go. Even though I have a lot of ambition for this house too, because I would like to turn this house to a house of the future that would inspire many, I believe. It's just I have to get to that point. Kathy Kirkham says, Lucas, off the top of your head, what plants don't like hard water? Oh, so I don't get any. Let's see. HC, the Hamantheus calotroides, or however you say that, does not like hard water. There's not a lot of plants that don't. Like really off the top of my head, that's the only one that, and it depends on how hard of water you're talking to, because once you get past the, say, 400 TDS range, the mineralization starts sticking to leaves and whatnot. So as long as you're under 400, but if you're above 400 and you start getting more of the mineralization that will stick to the leaves, then more, that can get a lot bigger of an answer. But yeah, off the top of the head, I can't really think of many more. Like, you can keep Anubias and a lot of these plants, swords, stuff like that, in hard water. It's just they don't prefer it, and it's more of a balancing trick when you do it. So they'll do all right there for a while. They just won't thrive like they would in a softer water condition, to where they're getting that constant uptake of that mineralization that's being broke down by that acidic water. Mr. Quist 125, thank you so much for the 200 DKK for the Crohn's. Says, thanks for always super content. I'm up to 10 hobby aquariums now after starting eating your channel. Thank you. Or it must have been watching your channel. I'm sure with the, I think that's Danish Crohn's. So thank you for the super chat. I'm glad I'm able to help you, and I'm glad you like the content. And yeah, I gave you the MTS. I gave you the multi-tank syndrome. Seems like my job's done, or at least just beginning with you, Mr. Quist. So I'm glad to help you, and thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. Okay. I am at the bottom of the chat. Once again, sorry I missed your questions. Mount Greenery says, what does it mean when my blue cherry shrimp are randomly really hyper? They usually hide a lot. Today they have been patrolling around like crazy. P.S. Love your beard. Well, thanks, Mountain Greenery. As far as patrolling, often they're either searching for food, or maybe you just did a water change, or maybe they're just out for a cruise. But it kind of seems to me when it's about feeding time, they like to do that, because they're just like patrolling around the tank like, where's the food? And it's often just the males who do that you'll see. Fisherman Mailman said he's going the other way, moving to Duluth. Oof. Like, I like the Four Seasons, don't get me wrong, but like physically for me, I'm just not made for the winter. Like, I can deal with it. I worked out in it in construction, where it was off and on. You're hot and cold between in construction. Just in the winter, you'd be sweating and then go outside and you got like all this steam coming off you because it's like -40 wind chill. Yeah, during the winter, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do projects. I don't want to do stuff. I want to stay in. I want to hunker down, eat ice cream. Aqua Negro IG says, LRB, I have 3 berry blue dreams about to drop soon in a new colony. Any smaller rainbows you would recommend, and should I wait a bit? So, I want to really do rainbows with shrimp. That you can. I mean, I've done it, but it's really tough. Dwarf neons, and then the Wapanga red laser. The threadfin rainbow fish you could probably get away with. I don't know about the Celebes or like the Signifer. They're a smaller rainbow. Your pseudomagulls, you could do those. Like the pseudomagul, what is the, man, I can't believe, I can't think. The red luminatus, those are really cool. The Gertrudis. They look made for winter, right? Looks can be deceiving. Should never judge a book by the cover for sure. Because I am not that made for the winter. Granted, yeah, there's been many times I've thought about just hacking all this off too, but I would just feel really weird and it just, I don't know. It would not seem right. I would regret it. I seem like I would really regret it if I did. Chris Trapp says, Lucas planning to attend upcoming auctions to get new blood. There's been some coming around as far as swaps. I know there's one in Indy here soon. I wish I actually knew the date. I'm terrible with dates. I'm terrible with calendars. Sarah actually used to run and manage all that, but we haven't looked into it since everything's kind of been halted. So she used to do all the scheduling. So when it comes to scheduling, I have put like zero amount of effort into a whole lot of that. But I do at least want to try to hit up Aquashella. I do want to try to hit up some of these places. I do know for sure, but I have to get organized on it to be able to answer that question for you. Lighting for a 50-gallon, only want to grow pearlweed, thank you. Oh, if you're only growing pearlweed without what, fish? Also, another thing to think about when you're growing out plants, growing a aquarium with just plants compared to growing an aquarium with shrimp, fish, and or plants, and or the other, becomes a different ball game because you're actually feeding that tank food. And when you feed that tank food, that stuff breaks down into the water colony, which all messes with what's in the water, like the substances, nutrients. That's when algae becomes more prolific, is when you're feeding them the waste from the food and whatnot. So there's a huge balance there and difference. But as far as lighting for a 50-gallon, I mean, I use, these are just shop lights. I tried to stick around 6,500K. With the 50-gallon, I'd probably look at about 4,000 lumens because it's a deeper tank. But yeah, try to stick around 6,500K and 4,000 lumens. Now I see a ton of questions on here. I wish I could stay on here and just keep answering all these questions, but I cannot. You can hear my fish. They're splashing back here. They're already an hour plus over their feeding time, and we gotta take care of them. So let's go ahead and take care of some of them. Barb tank's always fun to feed. I gotta feed the rest of these. I gotta feed myself. I have not even really hardly eaten much today. Did get myself a nap though, which was nice. I got this plant up here. I can't keep it alive in land, but I'm actually keeping this alive in an aquarium over here. So it's something completely different. I don't know if I showed this last Friday. You can see it there, that light green right in the middle. Kind of like these curly leaf moss. It's never been kept underwater, I don't think, but it's actually been growing underwater. I may have a new plant for us. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Some of you guys may even know what it is. But it's a pretty cool little experiment. And it's really neat to see it's actually working. And of course, that glare is like right there at the attack point. Glare, glare everywhere. People say you can use a polarizer for your camera, but this is like my phone. It would be just such a pain to do all the time. I'd never get nothing done. Yum, yum, yum. There, get me all wet. Splashy little fish. Oh, and these fish, good news too. With that tank that you guys saw in the thumbnail, I'm gonna split these guys up soon. Hopefully get them breeding, because now I'm gonna have that tank for them, and that'll be pretty sweet. I'll be super excited for that. Because they need separated. I think those hill trouts just been banging up on them barbs. Yum, 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 yum. I got graced by the killifish. Where was he? I just saw him. Probably went back into the plants. Oh, there he is. What's up, dude? He's old. Super old. All right, I gotta hop off here, but I hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you all for joining me, and I appreciate all the support, all you guys ordering, all you guys super chatting, all you guys just watching, being here, being part of the community. I can never thank you guys enough. And saying that, I love you all. Until next time, have a great one. Peace. Enjoy that weekend. Thank God it's Friday. Do 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 do.